This is Plumber football. Give it everything.
2024 wasn't just another year in Lubbock. It was a season that tested the heart, depth, and resilience of Red Raider football. Texas Tech finished with a 7-6 record, teetering between flashes of brilliance and moments that left fans holding their breath. There were highs worth celebrating. There were moments that truly ignited belief. None bigger than the Red Raiders' gritty wins over Iowa State and eventual Big 12 champions Arizona State. Those victories weren't just upsets, they were declarations of potential. But the season also delivered its share of hard knocks. Close losses that slipped away late, and missed opportunities against the league's elite. Each setback wasn't just a tally in the loss column, they were tests of resolve, reminders of how close Texas Tech is to breaking through. Those losses weren't just numbers in the column, they were gut checks. Under the direction of head coach Joey McGuire, Year 3 brought a clearer vision. The locker room echoed with belief, not doubt. While the offense showed firepower in spurts, inconsistency at quarterback and a leaky secondary exposed vulnerabilities Tech couldn't overcome against the Big 12's elite. Still, the culture shifted. You could feel it on the sidelines, in post-game interviews, and in the way veterans spoke about building something bigger than themselves. The Red Raiders weren't content with mediocrity, they were laying the groundwork for a revolution. Now, with lessons learned and hunger rekindled, Texas Tech looks to rewrite the narrative in 2025. And if the offseason buzz is any indication, they're just getting started. For all the promise Texas Tech showed in 2024, the season was marred by a handful of glaring weaknesses that ultimately capped their ceiling and cost them dearly in pivotal moments. The offensive line was a revolving door of uncertainty, with only one returning starter in Caleb Rogers, who was shuffled between multiple positions throughout the year. The unit never found its rhythm. Injuries and inconsistency plagued the group, and despite the emergence of Toledo transfer Vinny Ciuri at left guard, the rest of the line struggled to gel. The result? A diminished run game in key matchups and a quarterback under constant duress, forcing rushed throws and limiting offensive creativity. Texas Tech's secondary was one of the worst in the nation, surrendering a staggering 292.4 passing yards per game, ranking them second to last in the FBS. The departure of veteran defensive backs left a leadership vacuum, and the new starters, though talented, were often outmatched. 8 of their 13 opponents scored 35-plus points, including a 51-point scare from FCS opponent Abilene Christian. The inability to contain explosive plays through the air turned winnable games into shootouts the Red Raiders couldn't always survive. While Baron Morton started all 12 regular season games and posted a respectable 27-8 touchdown-to-interception ratio, his pocket presence remained a concern. He often looked uncomfortable under pressure, likely a lingering effect of past injuries and a shaky offensive line. Though he flashed brilliance in late-season wins, his limitations in the drop-back game and occasional questionable decisions stalled drives in crucial moments. Despite standout performances from wide receivers like Josh Kelly and Caleb Douglas, the offense lacked a consistent vertical threat. The passing game was efficient but rarely explosive, making it easier for defenses to sit on short routes and stack the box against star running back Taj Brooks. The result was an offense that moved the ball but struggled to finish drives, especially in the red zone. Head coach Joey McGuire and his staff took a hard look in the mirror. While offensive coordinator Zach Kitley earned praise for finding better balance late in the season, the early struggles revealed a reluctance to pivot away from a pass-heavy identity. On defense, the inconsistency led to the dismissal of defensive coordinator Tim DeRuyter, signaling a clear shift in philosophy heading into 2025. Texas Tech didn't just dip into the transfer portal, they cannonballed in. With 21 incoming transfers and a number 2 national portal ranking according to 247 Sports, the Red Raiders executed one of the most aggressive and effective roster overhauls in college football. And the results? Nothing short of transformational. The biggest splash came up front. Pro Football Focus named Texas Tech's entire defensive line one of the top 10 most impactful transfer units in the country. Here's why. David Bailey, an edge rusher from Stanford, is projected to be a first-round NFL draft pick. Bailey brings elite pass rushing skills and leadership to a unit that ranked near the bottom in sacks last year. Romello Height, another edge rusher from Georgia Tech, is explosive off the edge. Height is expected to be one of the top sack artists in the Big 12. Next up is Lee Hunter, a defensive tackle from UCF. At 6'5" and 325 pounds, Hunter is a physical freak who clogs lanes and collapses pockets. He's already being called the most intimidating interior lineman in the conference. Skylar Gill Howard, previously at Northern Illinois, is a top 10 portal pickup. Gill Howard adds versatility and depth to the interior. Also up front is Anthony Holmes Jr., a former Houston Cougar. He is a high-motor disruptor who rounds out a front that's gone from liability to lethal. After finishing near the bottom in pass defense in 2024, Tech reloaded the secondary with proven talent. Cornerback Bryce Pollock from Mississippi State is a lockdown corner who wasn't flagged once last season in the SEC. He's expected to shadow wide receiver ones all year. Terrion Grant, cornerback from Purdue, is physical and instinctive. Grant brings Big Ten toughness to the Red Raiders' back end. Texas Tech also acquired cornerback Dante Balfour from Charlotte. Balfour is a rangy defender with starting experience and a nose for the ball. The Red Raiders didn't forget about the scoreboard either. Wide receiver Reggie Virgil from Miami of Ohio was added as a vertical threat, who had 7 40-plus yard catches last season. Virgil adds the big play capability that Tech lacked in 2024. Tight end Terrence Carter from Louisiana is a top 5 portal tight end. Carter is a red zone mismatch and a reliable third down target. At quarterback from Wake Forest, Mitch Griffis is on board. While not guaranteed the starting job, Griffis brings ACC experience and could push Baron Morton in fall camp. The offensive line had some notable upgrades as well. Offensive tackle Howard Sampson from North Carolina is a top 20 portal tackle. Sampson is expected to anchor the blind side and protect the quarterback with NFL-caliber technique. Hunter Zambrano from Illinois State was ranked as the number 2 offensive tackle in the portal. Zambrano is a mauler in the run game and a rising star. Cash Cleveland is one of the most underrated but potentially game-changing additions to Texas Tech's 2025 roster. The former freshman All-American center transferred from Colorado after starting the final 4 games of 2024 and earning national recognition for his pass-blocking efficiency, allowing just 1 sack on 234 pass-blocking snaps. In regards to the transfer portal success, head coach Joey McGuire summed it up best. "We didn't just fill holes, we built a foundation. These guys didn't come here to rebuild, they came here to win." Texas Tech enters 2025 with a roster that's not just deeper, it's dangerous. After a transformative offseason, the Red Raiders boast elite talent in key areas, a retooled coaching staff, and a clear shift in identity that could redefine their place in the Big 12. The Red Raiders enter the 2025 season with 3 elite units to note. Defensive line, the Red Raiders' front 4 is now one of the most feared in the country. With David Bailey, Stanford, and Romello Height, Georgia Tech, coming off the edge, and Lee Hunter, UCF, and Skylar Gill-Howard, NIU, anchoring the interior, this unit has gone from porous to punishing. PFF ranked this group among the top 10 most impactful transfer units in college football. Wide receiver course. Even with Josh Kelly off to the NFL, Tech is stacked. Caleb Douglas and Coy Eakin return after combining for over 100 catches and 13 touchdowns in 2024. Add in Reggie Virgil, a deep ball threat who averaged 20 yards per catch at Miami, Ohio, and this group is primed to stretch defenses vertically. The linebackers. Veterans like Jacob Rodriguez, Bryce Ramirez, and Ben Roberts provide experience and sideline-to-sideline speed. The addition of David Bailey, who can also drop into coverage, gives Tech flexibility in its 3-3-5 scheme. There are also some key returners and potential NFL stars quarterback Baron Morton. With over 6,200 career passing yards and 49 touchdowns, Morton is the steady hand at the helm. While not flashy, his command of the offense and experience make him a dark horse NFL prospect. Center Sheridan Wilson will be anchoring the offensive line. Wilson is drawing NFL attention for his technique and leadership. Wide receiver Micah Hudson, a breakout candidate with elite route running and hands, Hudson could be the next Red Raider to hear his name on draft day. Defensive lineman Lee Hunter, who is already projected as a top-tier draft pick. Hunter's dominance in run defense and pass rush makes him a future Sunday star. Despite off-season turbulence, including a reported locker room rift and staff shakeup in May, Tech's leadership core has rallied. Veterans like Rodriguez, Ramirez, and McCarty have taken charge, while the newly opened $242 million Womble Football Center has elevated the program's culture and commitment. The facility includes a 2-story players' lounge, podcast studio, and recovery suites, fostering both camaraderie and professionalism. Texas Tech's identity is evolving under new offensive coordinator Mac Leftwich, from air raid to full throttle balance. Leftwich, a rising star who orchestrated one of the nation's most explosive offenses at Texas State. Expect a high-tempo, balanced attack that blends vertical passing with a renewed emphasis on the run game. The passing game still central, but now more diverse. Expect more motion, RPOs, and layered route concepts. In the run game with Quinton Joyner, USC transfer, and Jacoby Williams in the backfield, Tech is poised to be more physical and unpredictable on the ground. The defensive identity, under new defensive coordinator Sheil Wood, is shifting toward aggression and disruption. The revamped front seven is built to pressure QBs and force turnovers. The buzz in Lubbock isn't just hype. It's backed by numbers, talent, and a schedule that could pave the way to history. With a top-tier transfer class, returning production, and a retooled coaching staff, Texas Tech enters 2025 as a legitimate college football playoff contender. The preseason Big 12 projections have favored Texas Tech to be one of the best football teams in the Big 12 Athlon Sports and CBS Sports. Both project Texas Tech to finish third in the Big 12, behind Kansas State and Arizona State. However, Heartland College Sports ranks the Red Raiders #1 in their post-spring power rankings, citing their unmatched portal haul and roster depth. Betting markets reflect the optimism. Tech is the Big 12 title favorite at plus 550, edging out Arizona State and Kansas State. Then are other metrics that signal a playoff berth for the Raiders' scoring offense. The Raiders are ranked #4 nationally in 2024 and expected to improve with added weapons. A defensive overhaul. The 2024 unit ranked bottom 15 in scoring defense, but the new front seven is projected to be top 10 in pressure rate. Then there is returning star power. Tech brings back over 80% of its offensive production, including breakout receiver Micah Hudson and running back Quinton Joyner. For all the hype surrounding Texas Tech's 2025 roster, the path to a Big 12 title and college football playoff berth is anything but smooth. The Red Raiders face a trio of critical challenges, both internal and on the schedule, that could determine whether this season ends in glory or frustration. Texas Tech brought in 21 transfer portal additions, the second most in the nation. While the talent infusion is undeniable, blending that many new players into a cohesive unit is no small feat. Head coach Joey McGuire acknowledged the risk, saying, "It's all on me and us coaches to get this thing to come together." The locker room has already weathered tension over NIL and contract disputes earlier this spring, and while leaders like Jacob Rodriguez and Bryce Ramirez have stepped up, the emotional cohesion of this team will be tested early. Several projected starters are coming off surgeries or major injuries. QB Baron Morton, shoulder, is back to full throwing strength, but must prove durability over a full season. Wide receivers Caleb Douglas, knee, and Coy Eakin, back, have been cleared, but depth will be tested if setbacks occur. Freshman receiver Aiden Meeks, a projected breakout star, suffered a devastating leg injury in spring and is likely out for the season. Quarterback consistency will be key. Morton enters 2025 with over 6,200 career passing yards and 49 touchdowns, but he's still viewed as a question mark by national analysts. His shoulder surgery and past struggles under pressure raise concerns, especially with Wake Forest transfer Mitch Griffis waiting in the wings. If Morton falters, Tech's playoff hopes could hinge on a midseason QB switch. Every game in the Big 12 is a war, but here are the games that will define the Red Raiders season. October 25th at home versus Oklahoma State. This is Tech's first sellout of the season and a massive litmus test for the new-look roster. Tech has lost 11 of the last 13 to the Cowboys, including a 41-17 blowout in 2024. The crowd at Jones AT&T Stadium will be electric. This is Parents and Family Weekend and Graham Harrell's Ring of Honor induction. November 15th at home versus Texas. The Longhorns are no longer in the Big 12, but this non-conference clash is a statement game with national implications. Tech stunned Texas in 2022, but lost in Austin in 2023. This could be the final chapter in a heated rivalry. A win here would vault Tech into the CFP spotlight. November 29th at Baylor. Why it matters. Final regular season game. Potential trap game before the Big 12 title. Historical note, Tech has lost 4 of the last 5 in Waco. Warning sign, Baylor ended 2024 on a 6-game win streak and returns nearly every starter. Every great season has its unsung heroes, breakout stars, and defining moments. For Texas Tech, 2025 could be the year where all three collide and launch the Red Raiders into the national spotlight. Keep your good eye on these specific Raiders. Wide receiver Micah Hudson. The former 5-star recruit is poised for a monster sophomore campaign. With elite route running and after-the-catch explosiveness, Hudson is drawing comparisons to former Tech great Michael Crabtree. Expect him to be Morton's go-to target in crunch time. Next, recently acquired running back Quinton Joyner from USC. He brings SEC-level burst and vision to the backfield. After flashing in limited reps at USC, he's now the feature back in a balanced offense. Don't be surprised if he eclipses 1,200 yards and becomes a household name by midseason. Also, edge rusher David Bailey, a projected first-round NFL pick. Bailey is the anchor of Tech's revamped pass rush. His ability to collapse pockets and force turnovers could swing multiple games. Those past 3 Raiders are the obvious next big hits, but some guys are under the radar and have a lot of potential to contribute, like these 3 incoming transfers transfers. Tight end Terrence Carter Jr., a mismatch nightmare at 6'2", 245 pounds. Carter averaged 14.4 yards per catch last season. He's expected to be a red zone weapon and a safety valve in the middle of the field. Safety Cole Wisniewski from North Dakota State. An FCS All-American in 2023, Wisniewski missed last season with injury, but brings elite ball skills and leadership to a secondary that desperately needed both. And then there is Hunter Zambrano. Overshadowed by bigger-name portal additions, Zambrano has quietly locked down the right tackle spot and could be the most consistent lineman on the roster. Joey Maguire's bold offseason moves addressed coach and culture shifts. Maguire overhauled his staff, bringing in offensive coordinator Mac Leftwich and defensive coordinator Sheil Wood, two rising stars known for aggressive, modern schemes. The result? We should see a faster, more physical team on both sides of the ball. The leadership core is set. Veterans like Jacob Rodriguez, Bryce Ramirez, and Baron Morton have embraced the 1-0 everyday mantra. The locker room is unified, focused, and hungry. Here's a bold prediction, and why this isn't just wishful thinking. It's a calculated bet. Texas Tech is top 4 in returning production nationally. They hold the number. 2 transfer portal class, with a nation's best 13 4-star additions, a favorable schedule, no Power 4 opponent before Big 12 play begins, giving them time to gel before tougher competition. An elite offense, ranked number 4 in scoring last year. They are now deeper and more balanced, and finally a revamped defense. The front 7 projected to be top 10 in pressure rate. If Tech wins 10+ games and captures the Big 12 crown, they'll be a lock for the 12-team college football playoff, and a nightmare matchup for anyone in the bracket. From a 7-6 finish in 2024 to a top 2 transfer portal class and a roster brimming with NFL-caliber talent, Texas Tech's transformation is undeniable. Head coach Joey Maguire's bold vision, backed by elite recruiting, a $250 million facility upgrade, and a culture built on grit, has turned Lubbock into one of college football's most intriguing programs. This isn't just a rebuild, it's a renaissance. With explosive playmakers like Micah Hudson and Quinton Joyner, a retooled defense led by David Bailey and Lee Hunter, and a coaching staff that's embraced innovation, the Red Raiders are no longer chasing relevance, they're aiming for dominance. The question now isn't whether Texas Tech has improved, it's whether they're ready to break through the ceiling and crash the college football playoff party. So we'll leave you with this. Is Texas Tech ready to become a national powerhouse, or is the hype too soon? Drop your predictions in the comments. Like the video if you believe in the Red Raiders. Subscribe for weekly updates as we follow Tech's 2025 journey, because this ride is just getting started. Thank you for watching, and as always, give it everything.